And welcome back to another Soul Powerful Saturday. I'm so excited that we were just rocking and rolling. I appreciate you all for showing up, for yourselves, for community, for the collective. In today's session, we're going to talk about the power of visualization. We'll, of course, do our meditation. And of course, we'll open the floor to just open discussion, questions, follow up. If you had assignments or homeworks that you worked on, we'll have space for that as well. Okay. So we'll start with some grounding meditation to kind of clear our energy. So if you want to get your sage or incense or whatever, crystals, whatever fits your vibe, we'll start with that. And then we'll talk about the topic of visualization. And then we'll do a deeper meditation. That way you can integrate what we talk about in the topic. And then I'm gonna open the floor up. If there's any questions or comments between now and then, feel free to unmute. Or if you want to put it in the chat, put it in the chat. But keep it, more flexible versus me just lecturing. Okay. So we get water. And always, if there's ever any specific topics you want us to cover, just share those in the Discord and I can integrate that into future classes. And as a reminder today, we do have the adult ADHD group right after this one. It'll be an hour as well. All right. So we'll go ahead and begin to ground ourselves in this moment. And by grounding ourselves, we simply mean it's arriving. So as you ground, just begin to bring your focus and your attention to this moment. If you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes just to help you to further tune in. Connect to this moment. We can leave the thoughts of the past and the future where they are. And in this moment, we can just simply give ourselves permission to just simply exist right now. There's nothing to do, nowhere to be except for right here. Everything was ordered in order for you to be here today. So we take in the significance of this moment and the significance of every moment in our life, realizing that we aren't walking alone. We are being guided. Things are being ordered for us. So in this present moment, we open our minds, we relax our bodies, we let the breath guide us, and we can receive what messages are going to present themselves here for us. So we're going to do a few deep breaths just to clear out any remaining busyness or worry or anything that could be drawing you away from this moment. Even that judgment. Sometimes we criticize ourselves. But with each breath, I want you to allow that breath to purify you as the breath does. I want you to allow that breath to calm you as the breath does. I want you to allow that breath to refresh you and bring a sense of ease and peace. Sense of peace and ease and knowing that you're exactly where you're meant to be. Allow yourself to feel calm. Allow yourself to feel supported. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and release it out of the mouth. Grounded and connected to this moment. Let's take another deep breath in and releasing it out. Present, aware, curious, open, ready to receive, ready to observe, ready to simply experience what this beautiful life has to offer us. Let's take another deep breath in. And as we release the breath, letting go of all limitation, all fear, all judgment, criticism, perfectionism, anything that no longer serves us in our well-being. We allow ourselves, give ourselves permission to simply be and receive, recognizing that we are exactly where we need to be, and we are supported and guided and protected in our journeys. So one final deep breath in. As you release, with the eyes open, stay, shake. All right. So we ground ourselves to get us on a collective frequency. It's kind of like when you're with your friend and y'all say the same thing at the same time, or you're with somebody, you're thinking the same thing. You're like, I was just thinking about that. You're on a collective frequency. When we can put ourselves on a collective frequency, we can amplify what we experience collectively. So when we all come together collectively in an energy of peace and receptivity and ready to learn, more of that energy surrounds us versus if we were doing it individually. Okay. All right. Any questions before we get into the topic of visualization? Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with a quote to emphasize the importance and the value of visualization. This is a quote by Neville Goddard. So the quote goes, "Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, then you believe it to be true. You create your world in advance." Okay, now repeat that again. Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, and then you believe it to be true. You create your world in advance. So imagination is creating our future world in advance. One, that world is already existing, right? Because we saw it, we saw it in our mind. So that world already exists, but where our conscious awareness is right here in this present moment, we're going to be working towards that reality manifesting. Okay. And whether you're visualizing something good, quote unquote good, or visualizing something quote unquote bad, visualization works. Okay. So this is why we want to train our minds to be very selective in what we choose to visualize. Okay. All right, and I'm gonna put the quote in the chat as well. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go over 3 key aspects of visualization. And then we'll do some reflection questions and then go into the larger meditation experience. Okay. Like I said, feel free to put any questions in the chat. Okay. So the first thing I want to emphasize is how visualization is that creative force. Like Neville Goddard said, imagination is the beginning of creation, right? Imagination is the beginning of creation. In the realm of metaphysics, our thoughts are considered the energetic blueprints that shape your reality. Your thoughts are the blueprints that shape your reality. Okay. So in this moment, I want you to think, if your thoughts were painting or were building, we're creating a scene. Let's say it's a scene of a house. Okay. If the predominant state, if the condition of your thoughts was creating a house right now, what would that house look like? Okay. You know, what would it be all perfect and symmetrical? Would it be a lot of crazy colors, or would it just be one blank color? Would the walls be nice and strong, or would the walls be kind of float? Like, what would, if the predominant condition of your mind were represented by a house, what would that house look like? Okay. So that's something that we can think about in this moment. And you can also reflect on more. Okay, so our thoughts are the energetic blueprints that shape our reality. Okay. Now, what the research shows is that your brain cannot distinguish between a very vivid thought and reality. Okay. This is why, you know, people, you might be dreaming and then like you jump, right? Because your mind doesn't know the difference. If I was really in a dream or was I not? There's also this concept in neuroscience called mirror neurons, right? You show your brain something, you visualize, and you continue to expose yourself to it, and you begin to see your physiology, your body respond to that, right? There's studies that show that if people visualize themselves lifting weights, and they have to really visualize, not just like lightly visualize, but deeply visualize themselves lifting weights, they actually begin to build muscle, almost to the level as someone who actually went to the gym. Okay. So our brain doesn't know the difference between a vivid imagination and the real physical one. Okay. So we want to be very mindful of what types of visions, images are coming across our minds. And this is why it's important to be mindful of what you expose yourself to, right? Especially early in the morning. So many of us reach for those phones early in the morning, and then it's just trauma scroll, like this happened here, blah, 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 blah. And now we put that blueprint of trauma and drama on our mind. And now without us even knowing it, our brain is just programmed for that and looking for things that are similar to that as we go throughout the day. Completely disregarding all the peace and love in the world, but because we primed ourselves early on for trauma and drama, that is what the mind is now focusing on, and that's the reality that it's creating. Okay. So to be very mindful of what we expose our mind to. Okay, because that visualization is the creative force. Your thoughts are the blueprints that shape your reality. Okay. Let's see. And an important thing about shaping our mindset is that we have our conscious mind and then we have our subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the one that's paying attention right now. The subconscious mind is the one that's always running in the background, the one that's built off of those core beliefs of lack and not enoughness, of fear, of financial insecurity. That's the subconscious mind. Okay. Now, the subconscious mind is programmed from feelings and images. Okay. So the more you can consciously rehearse visualizing desired images, and while you're visualizing those desired images, also feeling the feelings of that desired reality, now you can begin to reprogram that subconscious mind. Okay, this is that getting rid of those childhood beliefs and reprogramming it to where now I don't have that voice of, oh, you're not good enough, nobody loves you, in the back of my mind. Mm-hmm. Deech, I saw your hand. You're muted, Deech.
You said subconscious mind forms from images and thoughts. Is that what you said?
Images and feelings.
Okay.
The conscious mind. So like the conscious mind is more of like those thoughts. See, the subconscious mind is more your beliefs. So a belief is a thought that you keep thinking. It's those deep rooted habitual thoughts. That's what a belief is. And that's a more subconscious thing. The conscious mind is more of the thoughts that we're thinking. And we can change our thoughts. Just like you say, like, you know what, today I'm going to embrace my beauty and I'm going to love myself. But then that subconscious mind creeps in there and she's like, well, why am I criticizing myself while I'm looking in the mirror? I literally just said I'm going to love myself today. But why am I looking for all my flaws? That's the subconscious mind. Does that make sense?
Yes. So the subconscious mind are the kind of old thoughts, like the ones I described that my parents would say to me over and over. And our everyday thoughts are the things that we say to ourselves. Maybe, for example, what we say when we see ourselves in the mirror. Did I get it right? Kind of
The more it's the more present, the conscious.
everyday thought.
Hmm. But again, your everyday thoughts can be influenced by your beliefs. But let's say you
Mm-hmm.
consciously decide that you want to practice self-love. So you're saying
Mm-hmm.
your affirmations and you say, I love you and blah, 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 blah. But then in the back of your mind, there's this feeling that won't let you believe those affirmations you're saying. That's a subconscious mind. You're consciously saying, I love you. You're the best. You're worthy. Blah. But that subconscious voice is like, no, you're not. Why are you faking? Oh, does that make sense?
It does. I now, I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but the conscious mind is not always affirming, or is it? Is it the subconscious mind that comes? Okay.
Yeah, the conscious mind isn't always affirming. But when we talk about like what we're using right now is our conscious mind, it's active. The subconscious mind is kind of just like on autopilot. We're not as in control of it as we are with the conscious mind.
Okay.
Hmm. So this is why we have
So the
go ahead.
I was just going to say, so if I could put it in smaller terms for understanding, the conscious thoughts are things that we actually purpose to do. Like we tell ourselves, maybe I'm overthinking, I don't know. Um, I'm just trying to write it down so that I can understand the difference between the two.
Yeah, you're right. The thoughts that you are controlling is the
Okay.
conscious mind. Yeah, like you said, purposeful.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I got it. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you for that question. Okay. Okay, so the first key point is that visualization is that creative force, right? Your thoughts are the blueprints that shape your reality. Okay. Visualization is also important because visualization helps to align us to universal energy. Okay. So by visualizing what you desire and feeling that, you are attuning yourself to the frequency to match that energy that you seek. Okay, so you say like, I want to be in a loving relationship. Okay, visualize that. Maybe not even try to figure out what that person looks like, but visualize the what it feels like to dance with your partner and to be held by them and to engaging in conversation and to travel and visualize waking up next to someone. And then while you're visualizing this, feel the feelings of it. Feel the feelings of what it's like to wake up next to someone. Like really immerse yourself into that reality because now you are tuning yourself to that same frequency in which that reality does exist.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's like the law of attraction stuff,
So how
right?
come it ain't happened yet? I'm just playing.
The subconscious mind. Is your subconscious mind completely purified? Right. And that's what the issue is with many of us is that we can say what we want, but the subconscious mind, it's like that. You ever see the picture of the iceberg where you see the tip of the iceberg and then you see that big bottom part of the iceberg, right? That's the subconscious mind, it's that big bottom part of the iceberg. And it's very powerful because it's always going. We're constantly popping in and out of being present, right? Okay, I'm present again. Now I'm off my head worrying about stuff. Oh, I'm back present again. But just imagine if we could be solid in our presence, if we could be solid in our self-love, if we could be solid in our curiosity and just joy for this life experience. That's very focused energy. Otherwise, our energy is split. It's like, I want this, but I'm thinking about all the things that could go wrong. So it's like you might get there slowly. You might get a kind of a bootleg version of what you wanted because the energies, it wasn't focused. You might get a Frankenstein instead of, the Prince Charming. Okay. he might look right, but he ain't talking and acting right because the energy wasn't focused. Okay. All right. Let's see. Uh, okay. So if you consistently hold a vision of your desired life, you begin to draw in circumstances, people, and opportunities that resonate with that vision. Okay. This is why we do the vision boards, because there is a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. Okay, the RAS. And this part of your brain, it looks for it, like once you give it some information, it now goes out and it filters out everything that does not align with that. And it only focuses on what aligns with that. So if you, and the common example is if you go to the car dealership, you buy a red Jeep. Now, when you're driving, you're gonna be seeing all these red Jeeps, be like, dang, everybody got a red Jeep. And it's not that more people have red Jeeps now. It's just that now that that red Jeep is in your awareness, you're more aware of all the red Jeeps out there. So once you plant peace and love and joy and prosperity in your awareness, you're now going to notice all the evidence of peace and love and joy around you. Okay. So we have to visualize on a regular basis, because we don't most of us don't realize how often we are visualizing things going wrong. Very often. Very often. I had to come up with an affirmation to say everything's working out for me. Things are good. Because I realized, I'm like, why am I expecting things to go bad? Like, that's still things like, why am I walking out the house expecting something to go wrong? Right? So we have to consciously tell ourselves, I'm safe. Things are working out for me.
You know what? What you just said about the red car, the thing about it is, like, when you were talking about the Frankenstein versus the Prince Charming, I was like, and then remembering what you said about us being in and out of alignment. The thing about it is, like, I noticed this. I just made a purchase. I bought a new vehicle. And like you said, I had never noticed a bunch of these vehicles until now, but it doesn't go away. Like, once you're in that frequency, like, I see those vehicles all the time now. It's not like I just saw them for the first week after I purchased my vehicle. I see them all the time. And I'm like, I ain't never paid attention to, this many Cadillacs before, like, for real. But it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go away. Like, once you're in it, you're in it. And that kind of, it really inspired me, because it's like, I am actively on, the path to build my Prince Charming, but I do understand that I have created Frankensteins, and this, I hate to say it, but the physical situation that I'm in right now is my Frankenstein. So, but I'm grateful for it, because now I could practice. Really, I have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of opportunity to practice staying in alignment, because I'm constantly tuning out the Frankenstein activities. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, um,
Mm-hmm.
I get excited. I forget there are times in my life that I have visualized and manifested, like my trip to Aruba. I manifested that. I used to look at the picture all the time, and I didn't realize until I was actually standing on the beach at this resort with the flamingos. And the picture that I saw, I was literally standing there, and I was like, dang, like, and this was even before I was manifesting stuff or different things like that. The last house that I was in before I moved, I said, I want a big kitchen, I want a big bathroom, and a big backyard. And when I walked into my home, that's exactly what I had. And I was like, wow. And we get all wrapped up in lifing, that we forget you have done this before. And once I created my house, I lived in it for 7 years until I moved. I bought this vehicle. I see them all the time now. So that excites me. I don't want to take up too much time, but that excites me, because once you're in it, it's not like it's going to be taken away from us. And I think sometimes we feel like our Prince Charming, once we get it, is going to be taken away from us. Or my trip to Aruba was going to be taken away from me. It didn't. It happened. And and I got a chance to be physically there and experience what I saw, what I visualized. Just like you, Dr. Nikita. You're in Tanzania. I remember the pictures that you had on your walls and stuff. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And an important thing that you said there at the end, each, was that it's not going to go away, right? Once you have it, it's not going to go away. However, that subconscious mind will take it away, will push it away. I've definitely been in a situation where, like, I wanted something, I got it, but then that subconscious belief of unworthiness had me start questioning the thing. And now I'm trying to pick it apart until now I don't even want it no more. Right? So we have to be very, very mindful of the subconscious mind. Yes, yes. And when good things happen, duh, it's supposed to happen, right? It's supposed to happen. Source wants to have a satisfying experience as you. The only time it does it is because we've gotten in the way. And satisfaction can come in the journey and in the outcome. The whole time can be satisfying. Crystal said, my connection just got wonky, but I really like what Deej said about once you have it, it will be. Absolutely, absolutely. I get the last part of that. It won't be taken away. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. It is yours. It is yours. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Let's see. Next point is on, so we just talked about being in vibrational resonance with what you desire. Okay, so it's saying, like, I want to be a millionaire, but if my subconscious mind is thinking lack and I'm so cheap and blah blah blah, then that's not going to happen. It's like, I know Abraham Hicks always gives the example of the radio station. You want to listen to reggae, but you have your radio tuned to the country station. You have to tune, you have to get to the frequency of what you want in order to hear and experience what you want to experience. You have to become it. Okay. Okay. So when this concept of alignment, right, aligning ourselves with certain frequencies, yes, our goal is to align ourselves with the highest frequencies, the frequencies of what we desire, but oftentimes we are aligning ourselves with negative things like fear and doubt and worry. So once again, this is the importance of building mental awareness. So you can notice, oh, I'm aligned with negative frequencies. Let me go ahead and shift myself up. So how Deech was saying that she's getting a lot of those Frankenstein moments, but she's appreciating them because it gives her an opportunity to practice visualization. It gives her an opportunity to practice, putting in some positive thoughts in that moment, right? It's like, you're putting in, deposits into that bank account. Every time you have that positive thought, put into that, it's like you're putting in, deposits. Okay, so even if you have a negative thought, be grateful and utilize that negative thought to inspire you to think a positive thought. Now, I'm not saying be what they say, like, uh so positive that you're being delusional, you're not attending to emotions, right? I'm not saying just be positive all the time. I'm saying you can take a positive approach to life to where even if when you're experiencing sadness, you can say, oh, I'm experiencing sadness. Let me explore this sadness. Let me understand what information this emotion of sadness is bringing me right now. Take that information and then move on, right? You don't have to stay stuck in that sadness. Just get what you need from it and then move on. Okay.
I have a question really quick.
Mhm.
Can I ask real quick?
Yeah.
Can okay, so can environmental elements take you out of your alignment? So say for example, so what I'm understanding is that this alignment process is all mental. Like even if, like, while I'm in meditation, somebody comes and they're screaming in my face, if I can stay focused on my breath, or my visualizing this dark chocolate man coming up behind me in my space that I see every time I vision, if I can stay in that, that should not take me away. Like once I get better at it, this person can say whatever, they can even touch me and I won't even hear or feel that. Is that what you're telling me I have to look forward to? Is that possible?
I think it's definitely possible, but we also want to be realistic with ourselves and realize that we want to do as much as we can to create a supportive environment that makes the process easy on us. Because that takes a lot of mental capacity to have somebody, acting wild in front of you, but visualizing positivity. It can be done and that's great, but you don't want to, that's not a sustained thing. You don't want to be trying to
Oh yeah.
sustain that, So it's like, yeah, that's the ultimate goal. Like you can like there's the pictures of like the monks who set themselves on fire in protest, right? This man is on fire, but in a perfect meditative pose, right? The mind is powerful because we are spirit first. So if you can arise and exist in your spirit, then whatever's happening in this physical realm doesn't really matter, you know.
So it's just me in choosing, because it's a choice, and this is a tough pill for me to swallow this week. I chose to engage. I have been doing so good. I hadn't been engaging for 2 days. I was like, I'm fine, I'm focused. And something happened and I engaged, and it just took me all the way down to like channel 2, and I was on channel 200, and I was so angry at myself. But for a second I was like, don't be mad at yourself. Remember, this takes practice, patience, and love, girl. You gonna be all right. I have to constantly remind myself, not to beat myself up when I do engage, because it's like you gotta practice this. You've been reacting and defending yourself in this way for a long time. It's not gonna happen overnight. So, like I said, I'm excited. I'm so grateful for all of my pieces of the puzzle and the resource here for sure. Yeah.
Ashe, absolutely. Absolutely. And the journey is not a straight line. It is this. It's a wave. So yes, you want to regress,
Mm-hmm.
but in that regression, you never lose awareness, right? You have more awareness now than you did yesterday. So in today's example of when you engaged, you felt like, ugh, I really don't like this. That's even more strength to not do it going forward, right? It's even more equity into not doing it anymore going forward, So even those experiences, but the key thing that you did was you recognize, oh, I didn't like that. I'm disappointed in myself. All right, that's it. Okay, let me not beat myself up about it, right? That's the growth. That's valuable. And then that gave you something to be proud of yourself about. So in that moment, you took that pain and you alchemized it into something positive.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I had wanted to, like, what I heard or like that kind of came up for me was like aligning or being taken out of alignment due to your environment. And so I agree that like you create the space for yourself that keeps you, I guess, at your most optimal. But I also recognize that sometimes your environment can be your trigger. So it's finding ways to like create your space in order for that not to be the case. And then when it comes to the reactions, I think what ends up happening over time as you get stronger is that you're able to kind of slow time down in a way where when something is happening, like where you would have like bubbled right away, you're able to like in that moment, it feels really long to you, but it's a split second, but you're able to catch yourself when you're just like, oh, this is what's happening. And you're able to like see it in the moment unfolding and then consciously choose your reaction in the moment. And then you're able to kind of not react, or action is more so one that serves you and it's not the one that kind of grabbed you, based on just like that immediate, I guess, abrasive reaction time. But I feel like in that when you're talking about like the like I was doing so well, some of it is just catching up with yourself, because some of it, this might be just my own ego. Some of it is like some things require reaction, but it's just deciding like, is the reaction that you give the one that you wanted to give? And so, because there are going to be times that it's just like, I'm going to give you this in the way that I know I wanted to. And so therefore I feel completely comfortable in how I reacted to it. But I feel like there's a moment of like slowing down that starts to happen as you get more and more conscious of like what's kind of like pulling you, or even like the energy points that catch you sooner. So that way it's not a surprise when that moment comes, and that's why the reaction is so fast. It's because you noticed it building and you were able to catch yourself before, the trigger really like hit, I guess.
Y'all gonna make me cry. I just love to hear the language
Yeah.
that both of y'all are speaking. Oh my
I
goodness.
don't know if that I can see myself kind of going in and out.
No, it came through clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. And that that time shift, that is evidence of you operating in a higher level of consciousness. I don't know if you all have ever done editing. Have you ever done editing, like video editing? Right. You know, like when you stretch the timeline, like let's say you have the basic timeline set and then the video's playing, so you see the little ticker moving. But if you stretch that timeline out, it's gonna move slower. But if you collapse that timeline down, it's gonna go by really fast, right? So when you're immersed in the moment of the chaos, whatever, things are happening so fast, you don't know. I went from 0 to 10. There was no in between. What do you mean? I just became angry. And it's like, no, when you zoom out, you notice, ooh, my palm started sweating. Ooh, I felt my guard was going up. Ooh, I started getting hot. Then I exploded. It's like, oh, so there was this whole situation that happened before I exploded and got angry. But when you're in it, you think, no, I just got angry. I exploded. But no, you can slow that timeline down when you have that operating a higher level of consciousness. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
That's where I want to be, child. That's where I want to be.
Yes. And knowing that is a desired thing for you, every time somebody triggers you, maybe you pop off, say, okay, ooh, thank you. This is an opportunity for me to practice creating the reality in which I stay calm. So let me visualize, okay, they talking mess at me. Okay, what do I do? Oh, I take a deep breath. And I start smiling, I start flowing and blah, blah, blah. And I start speaking to them so eloquently that they drop their guard and they relax. And you see how often when I'm talking to you, I close my eyes, right? Be in those visualizations, be in that reality. We're constantly creating realities all the time, right? So as much as you can, create realities of what you desire, and it will be. And if anything, you're gonna feel good in the moment thinking about that reality that you desire. Okay. All right, all right. There's one more point, but we'll save that for next time. But I'll finish up on aligning ourselves with universal energy. Let's see. Well, I kind of already mentioned that your inner world creates your outer world. And then the last part of this one is mindfulness and awareness, right? Kind of been mentioning this the whole time, being mindful of the thoughts and emotions you're thinking, because your thoughts and your emotions are critical. It's, you're having a certain thought, that's a certain vibration. You're having a certain emotion, that's a certain vibration. You want to be putting out vibrations that align with the vibrations of these dreams, right? All those beautiful things you want in your life are a high vibration, right? So always check in with yourself. Is the thought that I'm thinking, is the emotion that I'm feeling, is a high or a low vibration, right? And again, if you find yourself in a low vibration, ask yourself, explore that. Explore it, gather the information you need, and then bring yourself up to a higher vibration. Because if you're staying at a low vibration just because you're used to it, it's a habit of yours, realize that yes, you are going to connect with more low vibrational things. And it's going to continue to create that experience that's not so great. Okay. So as much as we can, just saying, okay, what is my vibrational gauge right now? Right. And this is why it's also important to be mindful of what vibration our environment has. Because everything is going to assist you or make it harder for you. So if you live in the hood and you go outside, it's nothing but guns popping off. Oh, we lost Crystal. It's nothing but guns popping off and people fighting, and that's all low vibrational stuff. So when you step outside, you done did your sage, got your crystals, it's going to be a battle for you to keep your vibration high when everything around you is vibrating low. So you do have to be mindful of your environment, mindful of what you eat, right? There's certain things like plants, fruits, and vegetables have a high vibration. Even the certain clothes you wear, cotton and wool, have high vibration. Those things are going to charge you up. Polyesters are going to deplete your vibration. All these things, being around nature, high vibration, all this stuff assists you in maintaining the vibration that will match the reality that you desire. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop it there. That way we have time for any more questions before the next group starts. And And then if you all want to attend the next group, we can, and I can just do another meditation in there.
Yeah, I definitely do. I'm gonna try and gather some information that I might be able to pass on to my man child. So but yeah, I just wanted to say that I had a dream last night that felt so real. I literally, when I woke up this morning, I was gonna call the people in the dream and ask them, were we together last night? Like, and I have not had I've had dreams that felt real before, but once I woke up, I didn't remember it. I remember this dream from start to finish. And the people that were in the dream, it took me probably the first hour of my morning to realize that it was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, shoot, if my visualizations can be as powerful as this, listen, you know what I'm saying? You're on the right path. If you having dreams like this now, what you're doing, the work that you're doing is helping. You're on the right path. And it was a little spooky at first. And I was like, I literally picked up my phone and I was about to call one of the people in there, be like, were we together last
Mm-hmm.
night? But I know we weren't, because I know this person's out of town, because I talked to them before they went out of town. Um, but it was just weird. I just wanted to share that experience with you. I mean, I could see everything, I could feel. It literally was like I was there. I can still remember it. I could tell you in the dream right now, you know. Um, but it just let me know that it was a dream. I think. I think it was a dream. Um, but yeah, it was just weird. I haven't had a dream that intense before. To where I really, well, one other time when my grandmother passed, she she visited me. I know she did. And she told me things to share with my father. I could see her, I could smell her, I could touch her hair. I knew she was with me. And when I talked to my dad about it, you know, he believed me. Um, and I think he was a little jealous that she didn't stop and visit him. But I know my grandmother came and visited me. I was there with her. Um, but that was, you know, many years ago. So, but I just wanted to share that with you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, Deej. I was just listening to a podcast today. They were talking about dreams, and it you really are entering different realities. You know, that's why it can feel so real. And the fact that you can lucid dream like that and have such a vivid dream. I don't know if it was a lucid dream where you were in the dream and consciously aware. It was more of you had a dream and you woke up from it and you felt like that was real. Um, Apply that same thing to life. Again, nothing really exists except for what we believe exists. So if you want to, you could paint a whole past that you never had insecurities, you never had this trauma experience, you never, who's to say you can't? Do whatever makes you feel good, right? And whatever allows you to operate in your purpose in this life. And sometimes that requires you cutting off everyone else who might try to take you into a different reality, a reality that you no longer want to entertain. You know,
Right.
sometimes that's
For sure.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Crystal, I see you're back on. Did you have any other questions or comments on the topic of visualization?
No other questions, but from like the visioning, so I did the exercise, or I done an exercise where I wrote out like my vision, and then I did a meditation, which was one of the ones in the Discord actually, and that vision was it was vivid to the point of like I'm like having a conversation with a child that I do not have type of thing, like a full on like picture, but it was also the picture that was like created through the visualization process. And so I remember like feeling physically like like super emotional when I had to leave. Like I remember having to kind of remove myself from like come out of the meditation and like bawling. Like I'm like crying because I felt like I had to like hand my kid over to I'm assuming her father to say like, here, like, I'll be back. Like, I have to go, but I'll be back. And also the knowing, like, the conversation was around, like, I prayed for you. Like, you were the one that I had written, like, I wrote about. Like, it was kind of like having that moment. And I think there was this thought around having, like, knowing that the work that you do now, when it does show itself later, how, like, wild it'll feel to be like, oh my God, that, like, that's the
Mhm.
moment I was having in the future, like, in the present future, quote unquote. And so I just remember, like, coming out of it feeling like that was crazy, like, but also
Mhm.
like that same excitement beach that you talk about, like that, like, oh my God, like, this is cool. Like, like it can feel this real, and what have you. And so it's kind of like, it was very, like bittersweet. Like, I was sad to have to leave it, but at the same time just like really excited about, like, the
Experience.
possibility that
Yeah.
showed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
in real life, yes. Ah, I've definitely was it. I've definitely had meditation experience where I'm just like, I've talked to my children, I've spoken to people, like I've definitely like, and doing that is so powerful. So don't feel weird, don't feel judged, but like literally the more you can immerse yourself into the reality, to that reality, the stronger you draw it to yourself. And then once you leave that meditation experience, you just focus on keeping the vibes high and being grateful that that
Mm-hmm.
thing is coming to you. That's it. And then it is. And then it is. That is just how
Mm-hmm.
this universe works. You
Mm-hmm.
put it out, you say what you want, you believe, and the belief comes from just knowing how the universe works. Like attracts like. You put it out there, you become it, and realize that you are source experiencing this life. So you're supposed to have a satisfying experience, and forces are working together to assist you in having that experience. Just don't get in the way anymore. That's it. Just don't get in the way. And if you happen to get in the way, show yourself some love, because now that love is helping the thing come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Hmm. Yes, yes. Yeah. Talk to your future lovers, your future children, future business partners, talk to them.
What
Mhm.
about, sorry, last question in this scenario. What about, I think about this all the time. I can never see my person's face.
Me
Like,
either.
I can't,
Me either.
Yeah.
it's like, well, it's like everything else. I can feel
Mhm.
them, like I can feel, um like them holding me. I can feel like we're physically in the space together, but I can never, I've tried turning around, and that's always when, like, up, wake up, like, it's constant.
Mhm.
And but that was something that I was just like, is this supposed to be, is this right? But that's been consistent for me. So I've yet to see this person's face, and it drives me wild.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's a thing because I don't know, like unless it's somebody we already know, we can somewhat see their face, but I don't think we can see the face. 'Cause I think if we did see the face, it would be like we would be like looking for it, and
Mhm.
somebody might look like that, but it's not them. But now we're like, but that's the face, and we're like
Hmm.
Mhm.
all in. So I think that was intelligent design to where we can't see the face,
Mhm.
and instead we focus on the feelings. And maybe there are certain physical features that we can see as far as like face down. um but yeah, that is an interesting phenomenon. Yeah. I remember my sister when she before she knew she was pregnant, she had this dream of some little fat feet running around a swimming pool, and she could tell they weren't, my niece was like 3 or 4 at the time. And she'd been trying to conceive, was conceiving, been trying, was praying on it. She's in her late 30s. And then she had a boy. And like, having boys in our family, like we're all girls, so it's like for her to, and she's such a girl mom, like a girly girl, so for her to have a son is just so funny. But it came to her in a dream first. She saw his little feet running around, which is what he does now. He doesn't walk, he only runs. And And it was, so, and at the end of the day, not only are things shown to us that are meant for us, but also you still get to create what you want to create. And everything that we believe we want in this life is because we want the feeling that that thing creates. So feel the feeling. Now we want the man because we want the feeling of security, of intimacy, of comfort, of fun, of, we want the children because we want the feeling of love and admiration. It's all about the feeling, right? So really focus, like when you're in these visualizations, focus on how you feel in these circumstances. And then when you leave the meditation, just continue to feel in that energy. And you really can speed up the process, right? But also trust the timing of things, because you might want it now, but you can't even handle it now. You're gonna take yourself out of it, right? So trust the timing of the universe on things as well. Yes, yes. But we doing it, y'all. We doing it. We are doing it. We are very much supportive. We are very much supportive. Okay. All right. So any other questions as it relates to the topic of visualization? I'm gonna run to the bathroom before the next meeting, but I did want to hold space if there's any other questions or comments on the last topic. Oh, homework. Okay. So I'm gonna start giving homework in these, and I'm gonna put it in the chat as well. Okay. So what is one area of your life that if you were to practice visualization, it would have the most significant impact? So think about either the one thing that you've been trying to overcome, or the one thing you want to heal, or the one thing that you want to achieve, or the one thing that you want to be, or whatever it is. Think about the thing that can have the biggest, most significant impact on your life if it were to come true. Okay. Or when it comes true. And once you identify what that is, I want you to set aside a minute a day. Okay. And in this minute, this is based off of Abraham Hicks's 17 seconds of visualization. Okay. So for 17 seconds, I want you to visualize that thing for 17 seconds. Okay. And then I want you to extend that 17 seconds to another 17 seconds. Just focus on that thing. Just keep your attention there. Just keep your attention there. If you need to speak out loud or talk about it, whatever, keep your attention there. Keep your attention there. If you can do 17 seconds, great. And if you can do longer, to at least a minute, or she had 68 seconds in there, do that. Okay. But I want you to do this at least once a day. Okay. So once a day, do the visualizations based off of this one thing that you know that once it happens, it's going to significantly impact your life. Any questions on that?
We're picking an area or like something like a specific event?
Come on. Okay.
It could be an event. It could be a situation. So like, let's say, you are pretty good in most areas of your life, but you know that public speaking, like, it's really holding you back because you want to be a public speaker and you want to travel the world speaking, but you can't get over your fear of public speaking. You hadn't even started speaking in public. But if I were to start speaking in public, it would change my life, right? Or if I were to finally overcome my food addiction, I would be so free. Or if I were to finally feel free dancing publicly, oh my gosh, I would be so liberated, right? Identify one thing that if it were to happen for you would significantly impact your life. Okay, and I want you to practice visualizing that over the next week. for at least 17 seconds a day.
Okay.